Hello, my name is Geogen and welcome back to World of Warships. We're going to be looking at another premium ship today, another review, and this time we'll be looking at the Tier 8 Japanese cruiser, the Atago. And let me just say this straight off the bat, it's a very capable Tier 8 cruiser, and if you want to learn more about its strengths and weaknesses, stick around, I will tell you all you need to know. Okay, so to begin with, the Atago will cost you 9,000 doublons, and I had a look on the premium shop, and that is £27, or around 39-40 euros. So it is a heavy investment if you are serious about this game, or this ship. You will have to fork out quite a large amount of money. Now, with that set aside, let's take a look at the statistics of the ship. So to begin with, it has 40,100 hit points, which is a good amount for a Tier 8, I think. If we take a look at the other Tier 8 ships, which are cruisers in the game already, which aren't premiums, we'll be able to compare that. So the normal Tier 8 cruiser for the Japanese is the Mogami, and that has 35,000 hit points at stock. With the fully upgraded, it jumps up to 39,000, so you have slightly more than a Mogami, a fully upgraded Mogami. If we have a look at the USA and the New Orleans, fully upgraded again, that has 35,000 hit points. So you have more health than both of these cruisers, which is a great thing. More health means you can take more hits. It says you have an aircraft and you have one fighter which is available to be deployed. You do have 2 respawns of the fighter if it gets shot down, or if it comes back it has to rearm and refuel, then it goes out again. So it's quite nice to be able to cover yourself from scout aircraft. The downside of just having one fighter, of course, is the fact that if you encounter fighter air groups, that it will be destroyed very quickly, because you'll either be outnumbered 4-1 or 6-1, depending if it's a Japanese aircraft carrier group or an American aircraft carrier group. Moving on to the artillery, a very major strength, a major strength of the Atago, because it is 203 in caliber, and there are 5 turrets with 2 guns in each, 3 towards the front of the vessel and 2 towards the back. So it's as equal as it can be, considering there's only 5 turrets, but you have 10 guns in total, and they have very nice damage and range. They got 15-kilometer range, which is very nice. You can extend that with crew skill, I believe, but 15.8 is good enough. In terms of damage, they do 3,300 HE maximum and 4,700 AP maximum, and you fire 3.8 rounds a minute, which is quite nice. The dispersion is 142 meters, which is okay. You have quite a high chance of fire, considering 16% caused by HE, which is, again, quite nice to have. The turrets rotate quite nicely at just under 30 seconds, 29 seconds to rotate 108 degrees. Again, you can speed this up with equipment and crew skills, I believe. Now, because this is a Japanese cruiser, you also get, before I talk about torpedoes, you get some secondaries which are also AA, these 127 Duel 127s. They have a firing range of 5.5, which is quite nice. 5.5 kilometers, that is. Torpedoes are a major strength of the ship again. You have 4 lots of 4, meaning you have 2 on each side, so you can see they are mounted in the midship here. 4 of them are here and 4 of them are here, and the range of these torpedoes is very nice indeed. 10 kilometers range, meaning you can fire them well in advance of a battleship, and if the battleship is foolish enough, it'll sail straight into them. And they do a huge amount of damage if they strike the target. 17,000 maximum damage, which is very nice indeed. Reload time is quite long, just under 2 minutes, but it's kind of a balancing factor considering these are quite powerful. They also have a 62 knots speed, which means they're not slow, but they're not exceptionally fast either, so destroyer torpedoes on the Isakaze, I believe the upgraded torpedoes on the Isakaze have a faster speed of 68 knots, but that's only 6 knots faster. The AA is something which Japanese ships aren't as good at compared to American ships, but you do have quite a few 25mm guns. However, although there are 28 of them, they are all single, but they are in close proximity to each other. You can see there's 4 of them right next to each other here. And another one up there, and another one up there. So, if you're under attack from enemy aircraft, you will be able to mop them up if they get within a 3-kilometer range, which is quite nice. You also have these 127s as well. You have 8 of these, 4 on each side, and they will fire at 5.5-kilometer range, as I said. So the AA is okay, but it isn't as good as American ships. The Cleveland, for example, I believe has better AA. If we have a look, yeah, it has 46 AA rating with the upgraded, and you have 3.5-kilometer range on the Bofors. These Bofor guns are amazing. The 20mm have less range, but you also have more 127s. Back to the Atago. The maneuverability is quite good. It has a 35.6 top speed, knots that is. The turning circle is quite large, but the ship is very big for a cruiser. It's exceptionally large, in fact. You can see how long... Well, they could fit another turret here, but they decided not to, I suppose, because it would add too much weight, probably. But it's a very long ship, and that can be a problem if you need to turn quickly. The rudder shift time, 13 seconds, for a ship of this size is kind of understandable. Concealment factors are quite mediocre. You will be detected at around 12 kilometers range, which is expected due to the size. Air detectability again, 8.7 kilometers, that's understandable as well. So, I think that's enough theory of the ship. Let's have a look at a replay that I had in the Atago. So, here we are in the Atago game, or the replay rather, and we're on the map North. It's a domination game, and there's 4 points of interest that we have to go and contest. The closest to us is the A zone, and that is where we're going to go, using the great speed of the Atago. It's phenomenally fast considering its size. We're already up to, well, when we were in the Strait, we were at around 35 knots. In the turn it goes down to 30, but we're now accelerating again, due to the fact we're going in a straight line. It is surprising due to the great size, but I suppose it doesn't weigh as much as a battleship of the same size because it isn't as well armoured. Anyway, we see some targets. We've got high explosive loaded. And we take a salvo at an enemy Miyoko. Unfortunately, our shells are very slow, and we didn't give them enough lead. Reloaded once again. Bit of lag, unfortunately. My internet isn't the best, and the replay picks that up. fire another salvo. It's quite a long travel time because 15 kilometers. We're now under attack by not an Atago, by an Atlanta. And he has such a phenomenal rate of fire. We have to get out of here. You see how he's firing 2 salvos and the second salvo hasn't even landed by the time he fires the first another salvo. So he can have 2 full salvos of his weapons in the air. Just the DPS is phenomenal. So we launch our torpedo spread in order to try and scare him. We're under attack by aircraft. We have launched our own attack aircraft to try and help defend us, and we've also popped our defensive fire ability. And you can see, even though we've only got 25mm AA, we are doing substantial damage to the enemy. I will highlight, however, you can only have defensive AA fire or the hydroacoustic search. I prefer the AA, defensive AA, because you have quite a good spotting range anyway, and if you're with other ships at the beginning of the game, you'll be able to spot enemies. It is quite nice, I admit, to be able to detect torpedoes at a further range, and it might be of more importance in the later game if you're one of 3, say, and there's a couple of enemy destroyers lurking somewhere out there that you don't know where. But having good AA cover to mop up the air is a very nice thing indeed, especially because the Japanese generally suffer in terms of the anti-aircraft armament. So I just split it up there a little bit just to cut out the travel time between the A and B flag, and we're now helping this destroyer. We are under attack by some aircraft. We've still got our own attack aircraft in the sky, and we notice there is an enemy Congo over there. But before that, we turn our attention to this New Mexico, who appears to have gotten himself in a bit of a pickle. We pepper him with high explosive. These high explosive shells, 203 in caliber, as I say, or have said in the port, are very, very nice indeed. They're actually surprisingly accurate as well. So, we launch a close spread of torpedoes on the left hand side because he's inevitably going to have to reverse. You see our destroyer also launched torpedoes, and he managed to avoid them, and some of them went into the island in front of him. You can see the torpedoes aren't slow, but they're not exceptionally fast either. We launch a salvo and all 10 shells hit and do 8,000 and a half damage. You see the torpedoes we launched on the left are going to miss, and 2 the torpedoes on the right are going to miss. However, he's sailing forward, he's slow, and he can't avoid this. There it is. A lovely amount of damage done. 2 targets hit, and he's sunk. Now remember, in the port, I said the torpedoes have 17,000 maximum damage. So even if one struck, we may have been able to kill him. But double tap, as it were, ensured he went down. So that Congo is still up, 11 kilometers away. But there's a closer target, one of those pesky Atlantas with the amazing DPS that we have to take care of. Fire a couple of 203 caliber, those 2 miss. The next salvo hits the rear of his ship, causing some critical damage, but we have to get out of here again because we'll just get set on fire and we will go down. The ship is quite agile, as you can see, for its size, and we're able to avoid quite a lot of this fire. If we're in a battleship, say, of Tier 8, the Amagi, or I believe the North Carolina for the Americans, it would have been quite hard to avoid some of this fire. Under attack by aircraft, we do take some critical damage, we shoot some aircraft down, it's all kicking off, but we managed to get behind cover, behind this nice large island. So we just skip forward a little bit there, And now we control A. B is still neutral. C and D are under enemy control. However, we have the clear advantage in terms of ship numbers. Now I want to cover this channel with torpedoes to make sure any enemy cruisers or battleships remaining do not manage to sneak up on me or use their main armament. So we launch one large spread, one wide spread first, and then we launch a second closer spread. So we have 8 torpedoes in the water, and they are both going in different directions. One's going towards the left, the wider spread, and the second closer spread is going towards the right. We'd relaunch our attack aircraft. As soon as you fire, by the way, in this ship, you're basically spotted. It doesn't really matter what range you're at. You add a large amount of detectability range for enemy ships as soon as you open fire. Around 3 or 4 kilometers, I believe, depending on the ship's tier, class, and size. So this Atlanta we saw earlier managed to avoid the first spread of torpedoes, but now he's noticed the second spread, but he's not going to get out of there in time, I don't think. Number 1, straight in, second one, at the back of the vessel, and he goes down. These torpedoes are very nice indeed. You just have to remember that they have to be fired well in advance of their target. They aren't particularly slow or fast, 62 knots. They have a good range of 10 kilometers, and they're very, very powerful indeed. And you have quite a lot of them, 8 on each side. And, additionally, they're quite well protected, compared to other lower tier cruisers and destroyers. So use them to your advantage. Use your range and the power of them. And your secondary armament on the Atago is very good indeed. I'm not going to bore you with the outcome of this match. There's only 2 enemies left, a Fuso, and I believe in Atlanta. There they are. So let's have a look at the post-game stats. And so you might well agree that was a very nice game for me. 350,000 credits earned, almost 5,000 experience, and 750 free experience. We also got Devastating Strike, I believe. 48 target hits, 4 hits with torpedoes, 12 enemy aircraft shot down, incapacitation damage, 3 warships destroyed, the Atlanta, and 2 battleships. The third kill I don't think you saw was right at the end. I managed to get the remaining Fuso. We caused 4 lots of flooding and caused 2 fires. We got a lot of money for 2 reasons in that game. One, it's a premium vehicle, which makes a lot of money because of its coefficient. Secondly, I have a premium count, which then brings it further up. And lastly, we completed 2 missions, surprise attack, which is to do damage with torpedoes. Apparently we completed that twice, which is a bit weird. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the review of the Atago. I think it's a very good ship, and it's a good replacement for the tier 8 Kitakami, which was in the closed beta. You can't get it anymore. That was a one-trick pony, as most people who've commented on it will say. They only had torpedoes, had some guns, but they weren't very good, and its armor was awful, and it didn't have enough health. So as soon as it was detected and shot at, it would go down. If you did enjoy the video, please consider giving it a like down below, and if you're new and want to subscribe, that would be phenomenally great too. As always, I've been Geogen, this has been World of Warships, and I'll see you chaps and chapettes in the next one.